Hi, I'm Joshua Hayward. Thanks for tuning into this new video. It's been quite some time since I've put out my last one, and the reason being, as many of you know out there, the passing of my dear wife Esther in January, and I've been doing a bit of mourning and spending some time in solitude, but I've begun recently to get back out there, and I just feel like now is the time to start doing videos and starting to connect again, open up that connection. And it's spring, and we need to honor that the very presence of spring, which is coming in, and beautifully here in Ohio. And I'm in my office here in Yellow Springs, Ohio. I'm very happy to be here. So, the nature of today's video, it's concerned with the lunar eclipse, which is actually happening later on today. As I do this video, it will be happening several hours later after this. And the lunar eclipse is the sun is in the sign of Taurus, and so it's a Scorpio full moon, and so this is a Scorpio lunar eclipse. The polarity of Scorpio Taurus is what we're looking at. The sun is that nature of how we connect with the earth, how we connect with ourselves on this planet, what's important to us, how we earth ourselves, how we be here. And the lunar aspect in Scorpio telling us, well, what do we have to face about how we're feeling right now? What needs to be renewed? What needs to be transformed? Because life is not static. As the seasons unfold, so do our lives. We are cyclic beings here on the planet. That's the very nature of not only the Earth, but the solar system and the universe. So we're right at that heart of renewal and reclaiming. So it's like we're reclaiming our lives. So if you keep that in mind, there might be some things you want to go inside and embrace and see how you're feeling about your life, and feeling about a lot of things. What needs to be let go of? What needs to be embraced? What do we need to hold on to? Taurus talks about value systems and ideals, and so what's really important? How do we want to have that sense of havingness with our lives? What's meaningful? So the thing is that with this particular eclipse, there's a whole bunch of stuff pretty close to the moon, like the north node of the moon, which is a destiny point where we're all going in that renewal sense, that direction of a sense of evolution and renewing ourselves around so many different issues. Saturn is pretty close right there in Scorpio there. And also the personal planets of Mars and Venus are back over on the other side in Taurus. So we've got Saturn on one side in the north node and the moon, and then on the other side we have the solar energy in the sign of Taurus along with Venus and Mars. So these are very important energies. Venus and Mars, how do we love ourselves with Venus? How do we love each other? What do we love in our lives? Do we have enough money? Do we have enough? Do we have enough resources when you pull in the Scorpio side to the Taurus? And then the Mars aspect. How are we acting? How are we treating ourselves and others? Do we have compassion? Are we acting in accordance with our true value systems, or are we kind of being contrary in some ways to our own nature, and are we compromised? Okay, these are some things to really understand that are important right now if we're going to embrace the power of this particular eclipse. There's another one coming up, and that will be a solar eclipse and that will be on the 10th of May. So we've got a couple of weeks there about, and between these two eclipses, which really concern themselves, because the sun and the moon will be in Taurus, and Saturn will still be in Scorpio on the other side, and we'll still have that north node, south node of the moon. It's still going to be on that axis. So it's like on the 10th, are we done with this? And have we done our work? And can we make it work in our lives? Can we ground our earth and this in a Taurian way, these energies? So, okay. If we're looking at an opposition of Saturn to a Venus energy and to opposite Mars energy, and maybe opposite the solar energy, what do these things mean? It's really a challenging time to face ourselves in a disciplined way and to try to renew our value systems, to look at love in our lives. Are we truly loving to ourselves and others? Are we acting in accordance with our values? Are we doing what's important? Are we treating ourselves with compassion? So, the Venus-Mars, it's a love and war aspect, there's push and pull and tug with that stuff. When you get Saturn opposite that stuff, you're facing a difficult time of renewal, that's the Scorpio part, and restructuring, and that's the Saturn part. So these are some important things to emotionally, especially emotionally, face right now, and to renew ourselves around. Okay, this particular eclipse is well disposed to the planet Pluto, and it's well disposed to the wounded healer Chiron, and it's very well disposed to Neptune as it's going through Pisces now, and it's very close to 5 degrees Pisces, and so with the sun at 5 Taurus and the moon being around 5 Scorpio, you're looking at a trine from the lunar aspect to Neptune. So it's a spiritual renewal that brings in basic spiritual beliefs. What do we need to, what beliefs now might we need to revisit and renew around life, around how, and are we incorporating a balance between materialism and ownership and spirituality? This is, and then what do we need to heal around that stuff? This is very important as we move towards the 3rd exact square coming up, or somewhere, I think it's May 21st, of Uranus to Pluto, and which really has to do with restructuring ourselves, groups of people, our families, communities, nations, and maybe the whole global process to see what we have to do in order to have a structure that includes freedom in our lives and to move on with a real strong sense of importance as individuals within the context of the global community. Right now, we want to look at preparing ourselves with some of the stuff I've been talking about here around values and ideals and personal energies to accommodate these great changes. What also might apply, we're looking at, when we're looking at Venus and Mars energy, and then Taurus, and then Scorpio, we also can be looking at healing energies, especially around sexual energy, around, like I said, around love, around how we act. But right now it can be a really good time for sexual healing. I think it's really important to see how we're, I hate to use the word structuring with romance and love and stuff, sexuality, but it's in a way, what is it about for us? Do we need to renew take a look at your sexual life and see what needs to be updated about it. That's so personal, I can't really say too much about it. I want you to think about it. This is here for all of us. It's extremely important how we connect with one another. Because Scorpio Taurus also has to do with money. Besides money and finance, it has to do with deep things. It has to do with power. So this is the power of our kundalini, or our chi, our life force moving through us. How are we sharing that? How is that meaningful to us? What are we doing with this? These are some really important things as we move into the spring, try to renew our lives, and try to restructure with these upcoming transits. So give some consideration to these things. I know I am. I'm in need for sexual healing and financial healing, and trying to look at my personal aspects, because I'm basically, look, I'm reinventing myself. You know, my mom died about 8.5 days after my wife passed, so I'm really looking at healing the feminine part of myself, and how can that support and give a form and structure for how I act, and what do I do with my male energy. It's all up for reinventing myself. My basic nature isn't going to change, but basically I am very much evolving at almost most warp speed right now. I would like you to take a look at that in your own lives and see if you would like to move with me, and all of us move together on this planet to try to build a sustainable way of relating with each other, with ourselves, and with the planet Earth, and perhaps in the cosmos too. I will be doing a video a little bit later on the upcoming eclipse in May, and until then, though, enjoy your lives and look towards renewal. Namaste, and be well.